Okay, for the test, this will give you something to study with. This is the same handout that we did together in class. So the questions are going to be relatively the same. I'm going to have a different stock table on the test, though, with different numbers. The first two questions are going to be about the high and low. So over the past year, what was the highest price and what was the lowest price that these stocks were selling for? So there's no math to be done, but you definitely need to make sure that you know the dollar signs versus percentage signs versus those things that don't need any signs, because I will be marking that off on the test. So these are dollars, these are prices. Boeing's high price for that particular year is $46.03. You're going to go up to IBM, and their low over the last year was $29.75. And then annual dividend for IBM. Here's your dividend column, and it tells you how much a shareholder who, depending on how many shares of stock that you own, you are going to get 68 cents per share if you own Boeing, 60 cents a share for IBM, and 92 cents a share for ExxonMobil. So if you own 100 shares of ExxonMobil, they'll send you a check for $92. 92 times the 100 shares that you have. But this just wants to know what the annual dividend is per share, because obviously different people own different amounts. So you need your dollar sign. We'll account for the dollar, which is 0, and then 92 cents. What is the percentage yield for ExxonMobil? I will include the formula, so you don't have to remember this formula. It will be on the test, but you have to come up and be able to pick from which column. So ExxonMobil's dividend is 92 cents. And their closing price for that particular day was $34.87. And so your percentage yield, and the word percentage is in there, so you need to make sure that you do that. If you put that in your calculator and then move your decimal places, 2.64% is your answer. And then your PE ratio for ExxonMobil, the same basic thing, you're just going to flip the formula around. So you're going to take that closing price. Oh, and I said multiply up here. I apologize. That should be divide. We're dividing that. And down here we're doing the same thing. We're going to divide that in the dividend, which is 92 cents. And so that gives us a price earning ratio of 37.9. This is a percentage. It tells you in the question. This is a ratio, so it's just a number. It's not a dollar or a percentage. How many shares of IBM were traded on the previous day? You've got to come up here. IBM, that's your volume. That's how many shares that particular day that were bought and sold. And because it says the volumes are in the hundreds, they do that to save space in the columns, which means you just automatically know that you're going to add 2 zeros at the end of that. So we're looking at how many shares of IBM, and so that is 81584, and then you're going to add the 2 zeros, and then you can go back and then add your commas in on your test. Once again, this is a number because they just want to know how many shares were traded on that particular day. What was the closing price? Again, this is telling you it's a price, so it's a dollar amount. So the closing price of IBM on the previous day, $83.36. Did the closing price of IBM stock represent a gain or a loss, and then by how much? And so just like the quiz the other day, you're going to have to do the same thing on the test. If we go up to IBM, this is telling us what it closed at. This is telling us what the change was. And because it has a negative sign in front of it, that means that was a loss, and it lost 90 cents a share. So you're just going to you'll write loss, and you're not going to put negative 90 because we've already said that we lost. And so I just want to know how much you lost. And so you're going to put 90 cents. At the close of the day, what did 100 shares of Boeing cost? So Boeing closed at $26.78. $26.78. If you have 100 shares, then we're just going to add the two zeros. 26,7,800. So it's 26 times 78 times 100, and so that gives you 2,670. Oops, we gotta have our decimal places there. 2,678. Then on the last one, if it rises by 25% next year, what will the new price be? And so we got to come up and see what ExxonMobil closed for, $34.87. If it's up 25%, we could calculate that by doing a 34.87 times 0.25 and then adding those numbers together. But if we take it times 1.25, so 34.87 times 1.25, that will include this number plus the increase. So our shares are going to be $34, and it's going to be 5,875. So since the third number is over 5, we've got to account for that. So it's going to be $43.59, not $43.58. So if you don't round correctly either, then it's going to be wrong.